Hey, Shoujo fans! We are thrilled to say that we are here with Jill Harris. You might know her as the voice of Fern in Frieren, Naho Takamiya in Orange, or perhaps Noelle Silva in Black Clover. But today, we want to talk about her role of Nina in the English dub of Nina, the Starry Bride.
Hi, thank you. Yes, I was so excited to get cast as Nina. I was not familiar with it when I got cast, but I had a good friend, Monica Flatley, who was like, "You just got cast in the best thing ever. I'm gonna give you all the manga to read, and you're gonna get obsessed." And I did read all the manga in like one weekend. I was like hooked. Anyways, hi.
Hello! Thank you so much for joining us. I love that you read all of the manga. Me and Chika have not got to explore the manga yet. We are currently anime onlys. So we have probably a very
Okay.
different perspective than you do on Nina's entire journey.
Yes, it's so funny. I'll ask people like which boy they prefer, and the anime only people prefer one boy, and the manga people prefer another boy. So it is a very different experience, I would say.
Yeah, I am very curious about diving into the manga sometime and seeing all aspects of the story and not like what they just chose for the anime.
Yeah, because I feel like y'all are the shoujo podcast. You know, shoujos don't always get the best
Hmm.
adaptations.
Yeah.
And so, if you like the anime, I would definitely recommend to read the manga because it expands everything. And there are things that you're like, the anime kind of glossed over, and you're like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, there was a lot about the lore and the world building in particular that I was so like enchanted by that I feel like kind of fell by the wayside through the end because there was so much they were trying to incorporate that it felt like what happened to all the
Yes.
cosmic lore and the astral priestess of it all, you know?
Yes, there was a lot to get through, and yes, a little bit fell by the wayside. Yes.
Yes, but before we get into the heart of Nina, what was the first anime that you ever watched?
Oh, I mean, I think like the first anime that I like viscerally remember, I'm gonna have two answers, I guess, because they were kind of around the same time. I was a military family, and so we moved, and I moved to a new place, and I didn't know anybody, and I didn't have any friends, and I was very lonely. But we lived very close to the library, so I would go to the library a lot, and the library had Kadocha and the first two volumes, and I rented those so many times. They were like, probably, why is Jill renting Kadocha two times a month? What is up with this girl? But I just watched it over and over, and I got like obsessed. And then shortly after, I found Fruits Basket, which is Laura Bailey and Jerry Jewell again as love interests, and John Bergmeyer is he's kind of a fatherly, reassuring presence in both. And so I was like, what is going on? It not only piqued my interest in anime, but it piqued my interest in Funimation specifically. Um, but then other answer, I was a four kids girly because my parents did not pay for cable, so I would wake up early and I would watch. I remember One Piece, Brooklyn Sanji, and I was obsessed with Mew Mew Power, the adaptation of Tokyo Mew Mew, and I have a lot of fan art, a lot of my own
Oh,
Mew Mew OC from when I was a child.
that's so cute. Oh, I love that you made OCs. That's like, I feel like when you're a kid, you really just like dive head first, like unabashedly into stuff you like that. I love that you have that. Do you still have
Yes.
like drawings and like pictures or stories?
Yes, like a couple of years ago, my mom was just kind of cleaning out the attic, and she was like, "There is a ginormous box of your old sketchbooks. Do you want me to throw them out, or do you want them?" And I was like, "Please give them to me." And I kind of skimmed through them. Ooh, I should do that. I want to do like a day where I just kind of go through it, but I just kind of skimmed through it, and it was a little bit cringe, but also there is a part of me that's like, I love that young passionate version of me, and there is a part of me that wants to be embarrassed, but also that little version of me is why I'm here today. Like, she got so obsessed with anime, and like truly, I had moved to a new place. I didn't know anybody. I experienced kind of depression and loneliness for the first time, and anime was a really big comfort to me. And I found anime, and then I found community within anime fandom and conventions. So it really is special to me. And so as much as I don't know, I'm like, I look back and I cringe, but I'm also like, I'm bullying myself. Like, people in middle school thought I was cringe, and you know what? I wasn't cringe. I was cool. I knew what I liked, and I was all about it, and that's cool.
Yeah, you weren't cringe, you were creative.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, oh my gosh, 10-year-old Jill would be stoked if she knew that I was a voice actor and I was working in the industry and I just got off work directing anime.
That's amazing.
I really am living the dream. Like, it's crazy. What is life?
That's wonderful. That's absolutely so beautiful. And you can see how much you're like glowing when you say that too. Like, I'm happy for you and for young Jill at the same time, because that's so wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I love that story. I feel like even me, when I had to move from like my hometown to like a new town, like my manga was my friends. I was just like, okay, like these stories that I get to revisit, like they give me like something until I'm able to actually make new friends and stuff. Like I can just delve into like these worlds and get into anime and stuff. So I just love that connection. But outside of that, the fact that your first one is like Kadocha, I'm like, yes, okay. Shoujo, let's go.
Because, like, I find that, like, a lot of people, well, at the time, when I was a kid, nobody knew what kadocha was. And now, like, I bring it up and there are, like, a couple of people who are aware, but I'm like, kadocha is slept on. It's very, very good. And I was rewatching just even the dub recently, and the dub holds up. It's still good. Like, people poo-poo on old dubs, and we have come a long way, but you know, you've got obviously the Cowboy Bebops and the gold standard of dubs. Like, there were some really talented people doing some really talented stuff, and it's really fascinating to me personally to hear like Colleen Clinkenbeard early in her career, and she's still working now and still a powerhouse. And I don't know, it's just insane.
I would say, speaking of shoujo anime, which I feel like maybe we have already answered this question, or you might have already answered the question, but do you have a favorite shoujo anime, show, or movie?
Oh, it's hard to pick favorite. I guess I will say, my brain latched onto Ouran High School Host Club in such a way that, like, I've never been that obsessed with a piece of media. Like, you know how, like, a little kid can watch, you know, The Lion King over and over every day, 50 times a week for 2 months? That's how I was with Ouran High School Host Club. Like, I kept switching between the English and the Japanese because they're both so good.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool story, but, like, Haruhi specifically is such a unique protagonist. And I feel like, you know, there wasn't a lot of, you know, like people now are like non-binary icon, but I feel like we didn't get a whole lot of that back then. And even now we don't get a whole lot of that sort of representation. And I really liked Haruhi because I wasn't a particularly feminine child. I was just kind of like, I was like, why would I wake up an hour early to do my hair and makeup when I could sleep in? You know, now I kind of see hair and makeup as art.
Yeah.
But at the time, it just kind of felt like something I had to do to be feminine. And I just really liked Haruhi. Haruhi's just like, this is the way that I am. And, you know, you can take it or leave it. And all of those boys fell in love with her because she just knew who she was. And I was just like, oh my God, Haruhi.
Yes. Oh my, it just feels like we're finding our people, right?
It really does. Oran's my favorite like ever. I love Oron so much. There's like my box set right back there on the shelf. I have like a wall scroll. I did a painting. I'm not a very good painter, but I like to paint. But you know, just Oron speaks to my soul. It's one of the funniest shows. I still laugh out loud every time I watch it, even though I've watched it so many times. He's absolutely iconic in all the ways you described. I just love the way that that show satirically doesn't shy away from cranking it up off the charts to like 11 and, you know, just
Yes.
going to bizarre places.
Yes.
That show, I keep thinking like I want to get an Oron tattoo, but I don't know how to subtly do that because I don't know that I want like, you know, the school logo or something really like
The rose?
that's what I was thinking.
I was like, maybe a rose.
Yeah, I was like, the rose might be good. That's what my mind keeps going back to. So like in 2 years, watch, I'll have an Oron rose tattoo somewhere. So
Nice.
yeah, but getting into Nina the Starry Bride, what would you say was perhaps the biggest challenge you faced while working on Nina?
Interesting. So I guess one of the things that I'll say is when I very first started, we were just switching over to the simuldub recording schedule. So anime used to be recorded in like batches. You'd work on like 8 episodes at a time and you'd be given, you know, X amount of months or whatever. Now we do each director, they have 2 shows and they do 1 episode of each show a week. And that's there's like not a lot of wiggle room because we're trying to kind of match the Japanese release. We try to release in English like yes. And so what can happen, it used to be like you could just be like, now's not a good time, or I just overcame a sickness or whatever. Can I? But now it's unless you've lost your voice or whatever, you have to go in. And what is a bizarre experience for me is I struggle to watch anime that I'm in because my brain will go, oh, I remember when I recorded that episode, there was a bad driver on the road and I almost got into a car accident and I was feeling really anxious or whatever. And so like my brain will jump back to those moments. And so I remember I was recording and it was kind of a turbulent time in my life. And I know that the director, Caitlin Glass, was also, she was either working on Solo Leveling that season or coming off. And so she was just kind of stressed working on 2 just very, very good shows and trying to put all of her focus and effort into these 2 things. It's a lot of pressure. And I felt that pressure as well because I like I said, I immediately fell in love with the story and I wanted to do Nina justice. And I was like, okay, I gotta make sure I'm getting enough sleep and I'm well rested and all of these things. And I think just kind of my anxiety, I want to do a perfect job. And like I said, I want to do Nina justice. But those emotional scenes, I was worried that I would be perhaps kind of tired out by life and that I wouldn't bring enough oomph to them. But on the other side, I found that I was actually like, I would come in, I was a little stressed and I was a little bit frustrated. And then Nina would just like ugly sob and I would just feel so good after. And then I'd go home and take a peaceful little nap. And so, if you watch Nina goes through hard times.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I think I was worried about bringing my best to it or whatever. But I was kind of going through turbulent times as well, just as Nina was, and I think it kind of brought something to it. But there are just like a couple of episodes where I can hear I'm like, oh, I'm tired in one.
Oh, wow.
But most people probably can't hear it, but I can. But it's my brain was like, I want to go back and re-record that and make it perfect. But no, I think it worked out because I think that stuff kind of mirrored Nina. But also, like again, on the flip side, her comedic moments, I wasn't expecting because it's such a funny show. But then it'll make you cry later on in the episode, which is like my favorite kind of stuff. And so just getting to be like really kind of childish and stuff was also very fun. Blowing off steam. I don't know. I hope that answered your question.
No, it did. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I like that you were able to kind of like almost like work through your own stuff through Nina working through her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, acting is very therapeutic for me. I like it a lot.
Well, and that's perfect.
I guess, do you have a favorite, like, memory from your time working on Nina?
It's so funny. It's all a blur. I'm thinking about. I was really kind of immediately charmed by her dynamic with Set. And that's partially because I'm a manga reader, because the anime only people are like, why do you like Set? And I'm like, just read the manga. You'll understand. But yeah, I really liked the dynamic with Set, and I really liked like balancing Nina's like maturity and her childishness. Because I kind of feel like that sometimes. I feel very mature, but then I'll also have moments where like I'm being a little baby.
Same.
That's the duality of being a human.
Yeah.
But I just remember I had so much fun like with her lines. I remember there was this specific one where like he stole a kiss from her and she tries to get him back and she steals a kiss from him and she's like, see, it means nothing. It's like poop or something like that. There was like a poop line that was really, really funny and caught me off guard. And I just remember I chuckled about that a lot with the director. And again, it's really cool in a session where you can laugh and then 20 minutes later be crying because Nina's crying and you get to experience all of these emotions all at once with the wonderful Caitlin Glass. Speaking of Haruhi and Oran,
Right,
like that's another
yeah.
crazy thing. I get to work with my heroes. What?
Right. That's amazing.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost silly to ask, but would you rather see Nina end up with Azure or Set?
I mean, I'm a Set fan.
Ooh, spicy.
I feel like I've made it clear, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's some stuff in the manga. I think Azure is a really interesting character, and I think he's really burdened by and bound by like responsibility.
Mm.
Like I have to be this way. I have to take care of things. I have to, and I would love him to kind of put that aside a little bit and focus on himself and just be
Yeah.
like, no, actually, I love Nina and I'm gonna pursue Nina and I'm gonna do one for me. Actually, I think that would kind of turn me around on Azure, and then I think he could fight Set and it would be very, very, very cool and interesting. But I think that's my thing with Azure is he's still torn between kind of Nina and his duty and what he should do and what he's supposed to do,
Mhm.
whereas Set to me reads a little bit more like I'm gonna do what I want. And
Yeah.
if you read the manga, he's like, I want Nina.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, Azure's more bound by the system that indoctrinated him versus Set's just like, I don't care about anything.
Set's like, F the system.
F the system.
The system abused me.
Yeah.
Which is also a really interesting narrative. But, like, I think, honestly, if Azure and Set talked, they might find that they have a lot in common, actually. And they just react to the pressure differently.
Yeah, I'd noticed that there was a bit of a parallel between them. So yeah, it would be interesting if they actually were to communicate. Not like you touch or you die.
Yes.
Okay, so Nina is beautiful, bold, steadfast, but some of her choices took us by surprise. So, was there anything in particular that Nina chose to do that caught you off guard?
Let's see. She's feisty.
Yeah.
And I feel like we don't get like we don't often see heroines like this or I don't know. I haven't seen a character like her in a while. She definitely caught me off guard and did a lot of things that I was like, I personally wouldn't do that, honey.
Yeah.
You're placing a lot of, but just like, I remember, I watched the episode where she gets the cut. And I
Yeah.
was like, girl, what are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah, so many questions.
Yeah, I was like,
Yes.
and it worked out in the end, and but like that's also just kind of the thing about Nina is she trusts her intuition, which I'm not that person. I'm more like Azure. I'm more like calculated, and I was like weigh the pros and cons. And Nina, she feels things very deeply, and then she just kind of reacts to that, and I think that's one of the things that the boys both admire about her as well. So
Yeah. No, I think I'm on the same like footing as you in that like I would have been more like Azure, at least specifically in that instance of there are so many things at play right now. I don't know if I would push this. I don't think that I would push this because I'm thinking of Fortnite. I'm thinking of this. I'm thinking of and so it's like at times I do admire like that feistiness that she has, like that resilience to keep going and to push forward. But other times I'm just like, wait, please.
Wait, take a second, think about
Stop.
it. Yeah,
Pause.
no, stop, girl.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, in addition to Nina the Starry Bride, in our intro, I also mentioned that you voiced Fern in Frieren, which we did cover on our Patreon. And we would love to know what you think about Fern's journey growing alongside Frieren, if you wouldn't mind talking about that a little.
Yes, that's crazy. I was thinking about that the other day.
Wonderful.
Yes, I think Fern, kind of like Nina, except very different. But like, it's also like she's burdened by responsibility, but she also has this childishness to her. She is much more calculated than Nina, however, but I think those characters are very, very interesting. Where they're like, in a way, they have a seriousness. They're like, I have a duty, I have this thing, but like on the flip side, they're maybe making some childish decisions, and then you just also it makes you realize like, oh, she's 15 or 16, or in Fern's case, 16 and then becomes 19. And I think we often forget that like what it's like to be a kid and have a kid brain. Like I remember growing up in English class and reading Romeo and Juliet, and you see plays performed and they're adults, but in the book they're like 14 or something crazy like that. And it's like, well, of course they're like, I'll never love again, you know?
Yeah.
But I really liked Fern. I liked the fact that like she was a very serious child, and then like in juxtaposition to Frieren, who's very like laid back. Like Fern is the one that she's like, I'll do the grocery shopping, I'll make the list, I'll make sure we wake up on time. And she can do all of these like adult things. However, when she has to talk to a boy her age, she's like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know how to talk to other people. I grew up all alone. And yeah, to just at such a young age, you know, war, that'll end your childhood real quick.
Oh, yeah.
War, your parents dying. She had to learn how to grow up really quickly, and I think she just kind of put her emotions in a box. And so she's matured in all of these different ways, but emotionally she's not matured because she hasn't kind of allowed herself to touch that. And now as she's with Frieren and just watching Frieren experience grief and regret, and I think it's making Fern just kind of look at her emotions as well and be like, am I making the most of my time? And it's a really interesting dynamic, and I'm really excited for season 2.
Oh, so are we.
Yes, so are we.
Yeah, very much enjoyed the first season.
I have to ask, do you ship Fern and Stark?
I do.
Yeah, so do we.
I think it's so cute, and I think like I don't know. I feel like I do like a lot of like romance anime and stuff like that, but their dynamic is so cute and so fun, and I feel like especially characters that I play, people are so quick to slap like a tsundere label on my characters, but I think they're really interesting, and I really enjoy their interactions with each other. I mean, all of the characters are very well written, and all of
Yeah.
their
Oh, yeah.
interactions are so fascinating. But I like that he makes her uncomfortable, and that forces her to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you get to see her emotions that she has kept away, like finally come into play in relation to him.
Hmm. And then she has to figure out what to do with it. And it seems like she wants to
Yeah.
fight it, so she gets aggressive. So maybe she'll like start to learn that like, hey, it's okay to like be soft with this boy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's like, what is this feeling? I've never felt this before. I don't like it.
Hmm.
She's like, I'm used to feeling blah. And it's
Mm.
now I'm wow.
Yeah. I love that way of putting it. So, Shoujo Sundae, as a very queer, particularly bisexual podcast, firstly, we welcome you to the family, as we say here. Representation matters. We're very, very happy to have you and to claim you.
Aw, thank you.
We were wondering if you might have any advice for folks who may be at the beginning of their journey of realizing that they identify as queer.
Interesting. Well, I'm so happy that y'all claim me. I also I'm a baby queer. I grew up very, very religious. And yeah, I've found that I'm a little more attracted to women than men. I like some men, but overall I think women are just a little prettier than men. And so growing up, like I didn't date a lot. I didn't have boyfriends because I like literally I just thought like girls would be like, I have a crush on this boy, and I thought they were just picking at random. And so I would be like, oh, I have a crush on John. I have a crush too. And like it was I didn't understand.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I grew up very, very religious, fundamentalist, and compet, compulsory heterosexuality.
Mhm.
Google it, it's a cool term. Was very much defined me. What is it called? Like the lesbian master doc.
Oh, I've heard of it.
PDF
Yeah, yeah.
was very it was very informative for me. So yeah, over the pandemic, like a lot of folks, I had a lot of realizations about myself. Did a lot of journaling and exploring myself in therapy as I was locked away in my home, away from the world. And I was kind of deconstructing some of what I was taught as a child, and being like, I was taught this brand of Christianity, but what do I actually believe? How do I actually relate to a God or these things? And rather than just absorbing everything that I was taught as a child, and just coming to a lot of these realizations about myself, and suddenly things were making a lot more sense, because I would just be like, this girl is so cool.
Yes.
I just want to be her friend. I think she's cool. Isn't it crazy how she just always looks so good? And like, I didn't know what that was. Yes. So, like I said, I'm still baby gay. I'm married to a non-binary person, but they were assigned male at birth, and so they also kind of came to that realization over quarantine, and so we were kind of figuring things out together. But it's it's a part of myself that I've just kind of begun exploring recently. I feel very welcomed by the community. Everybody has been so kind, and I've learned a lot about myself, and it's been wonderful. And I personally I'm really enjoying a lot of the queer anime like representation that's coming out.
Yeah.
There did not used to be much, and then even just within the acting space, there were not like a lot of actors that identified as queer. And so if there was the occasional queer character, it would either go to like they'd be like, oh well, J. Michael Tatum's gay, or whatever. It would go to like the one the one gay guy in the building or whatever. Or it would go to, I don't know. There's a whole wave of new talent coming in, and there's so many like talented and diverse folks, and the talent pool at Crunchyroll specifically, I can't speak for these other companies, has really, really diversified, and also these shows that we're licensing and picking up has diversified. We've hired a lot of new directors, and it's just been very beautiful and very great to see. And I'm happy to be a little part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot from a lot of these new folks. I've made friends, and yeah, I don't know. That's my answer.
No, that's wonderful. I love, of course, like finding community within the queer community is such a way to feel safe and like fully yourself, to like not have any walls up. And it sounds a lot like actually allowing yourself to have the space and the time to like really delve into those feelings. It's sometimes where it's like when they first creep up, it's like that makes me uncomfortable about myself, where it's like instead of
Yes.
like pushing it away, it's like, well, hey, no, if this is me, what about it? So I feel like to lean into that really helps you become your full self. I can't find a better way to put that right now, but to really blossom.
Yeah.
And I do want to spotlight my partner for just like not being intimidated by that, and being like, yeah, absolutely, like explore that. Like
That's wonderful.
yes, and yes, it's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And also like ideal, because I mean, I would love to just be like queer. We're all queer. Like this whole relationship is queer. The flag is queer. Like everybody's accepted. That's the dream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, I guess, to ask, because of course you're an amazing voice actor. Like, what advice would you lend to someone who hopes to break into the industry?
My story is a little bit weird, because I was a weird neurotic kid who decided at 10 that I wanted to be a voice actor, and I'd been working at it for a long time. So when I was 15, I set up my own home studio in my closet, and bought a microphone and a preamp and all that stuff, and started auditioning for things online, and saved up money. And then when I was 20, I moved to Texas specifically to work at Funimation. And when I did that, there was only like one or two other people who had done that. And they were like, we don't talk about that. We don't let them know that we're anime fans, because, everybody was like, we want to present us. I'm an actor. I'm an actor. And there was I think sometimes you could get a person in and be like, is this person just an anime fan that's trying to be an anime? But now it's really, really interesting and really, really crazy, because over the pandemic, we all had to switch to remote recording, and that really opened up the talent pool, because now we were able to use actors from wherever, and a lot more people got into voiceover. But then when the studio opened up, they switched back to local recording because it's easier for the mixers.
Yeah.
And so we had this huge flood of actors moving to Texas. And it used to be like, people were like, you moved here just to do anime? What? I've never heard of that. And now every new actor is like, oh yeah, I moved here to do anime. And it's everybody's story. I think, so I meet a lot of anime fans at conventions, and they're interested in voiceover, but they're also very shy. And I want to say I was such a shy, anxious kid as well. And so if I can do it, anybody can do it. But my advice is to just start. Like, if you're at school, join the theater club. Do, local theater, community theater. There's lots of opportunity anywhere. And then buy like a cheap $100 USB microphone. Doesn't have to be nice. Talk into it. Get comfortable with your voice, because I'm sure you guys know, you talk into a mic and you listen back and you're like, is that what I sound like?
I got over that after a certain point.
Yeah. But the first time you're like, whoa. And so, I tell people, get comfortable with your voice. Learn mic technique, because that's another thing. Some people will be way back or way up here, and but just do it. It's never going to feel like the right time. You're never going to feel prepared enough. And I don't mean like just do it as in move, but just get started in acting. Do any sort of acting, because people will often be like, well, I'm interested in voiceover specifically. And it's like, well, any type of acting, theater, on camera, even just like doing commercials and stuff like that. All of it is useful. So do any sort of acting. I was just speaking, we talked about it before we got on, but like I said, I grew up very religious, and I helped out in children's church. We had a puppet ministry, and so I did puppets for the kids, and that was great practice. And so just get going, because that's the thing. A lot of people are just so afraid to get started that they never do. And just go, just do it. You'll surprise yourself.
Before everybody was coming to Texas to do, Jill did it.
Jill Harris did it first.
Jill Harris did it.
My parents were so scared. My parents were like, what are you doing? Yes. Yeah, there were a couple. When I moved here, I became friends with Micah Solusad and Afia Yu, which Micah was like the only, Micah and Afia, they were the only other ones that I knew who had done this, and poor Micah had moved all the way from Hawaii, so he made quite a journey, but yeah, there were like no people. Everybody else was like, I'm an established actor that's lived in Dallas for all my life, and I've won Tony Awards for the theater that I've done here. And I'm like, oh God, I'm just some kid with a microphone in community theater.
That's adorable, though. Like a kid with a microphone and a dream, and I did it.
I did it.
Yeah. You conquered it.
You did.
You rock it. Yeah.
It really is crazy. Yeah, I was talking to somebody because, oh God, this is embarrassing, but it was, everybody does it. Yeah, I would go to my local con, and they would have voice actor guests, and people do this to me at conventions, so whatever, you're not cringe, Jill, but I would just go up to them and I'd be like, I want to do what you do someday. Do you have advice for me?
That's so cute.
But it's crazy because a couple of them remembered me. And I was just talking to one the other day, and I was like, I've been doing this for like 10 years now. And they were like, yeah, you have. Like, I remember meeting you at a little con. So it's so crazy and so weird. And I really am like blessed and grateful.
Oh, this is wonderful. I'm like just so happy for you. This is like this like timeline is incredible. I'm like, I know we just met, but I'm like proud of you. Is that weird? Like,
thank you. It really is like I need to sit down and just like be grateful sometimes, because it is really just a crazy story. Like sometimes if I meet a new person, I'll be like, here's my story. And they're like, that's insane, but very cool. Yeah, I was just a very tenacious child. Like you said, a child with a microphone and a dream.
Yeah.
And I did it.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, we do have one question we ask everybody who comes on Shoujo Sundae, and that is, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Ooh. Oh my goodness. I've been doing a lot of ice cream lately too. Ice cream is like so good for after a bad, like a vocally stressful session. Goodness gracious. For whatever reason, because I buy all kinds of ice creams and I switch it up. My taste buds have ADHD, as do I. But for right now, my brain is saying Rocky Road. I'm really craving that right now, and I think I have it in my freezer, and I think I'm gonna eat some after this podcast.
Perfect.
I love that for us. That's one of our segments too.
Yeah, that's one of our
Road.
segments is called Rocky Road as well, so it's super fitting. Chocolate marshmallow, incredible combination. Yeah, good stuff.
Yes.
Now for our last question, are there any projects that you would like to promote? This will be coming out in early October. So anything we can like help push, just be like, yeah, Jill's doing this, and you better support, or we'll find you. Well, we won't really find you, please. But you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. In January, Freerin is coming back and Hell's Paradise. The one that I just wrapped up, and apparently people are watching it, so I was like, cool. To Be Hero X. It's actually a donghua. I guess it's not a shoujo. Sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Hey,
yeah.
Speaking about queer representation, there's a lot of queer representation in there.
Yeah.
But I voice a character named Lucky Cyan, and it's a show about superheroes, but their powers are determined by public opinion. So if you get some bad tabloids, maybe your superpowers go away and you don't have a job anymore.
Ooh.
And so it's really interesting because some of the superheroes seem like cool people, and then you meet them and they're bad people. Yeah, Lucky Cyan, she has a really emotional backstory, and then there's kind of a queer thing going on with her and another character named Queen. And they're actually just like a lot of really cool queer characters in it. The first season is wrapping up. Season 2, I don't know when it's starting. However, another cool thing about the show is fans can go online and rank the characters, and the next season is a tournament arc, and they're saying that things will be determined based on fan rankings.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's fun.
You can get in now and influence and maybe vote for Lucky Cyan, my character.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm a little bit biased, but I want to see my girl win.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Everybody get in on that.
Yes.
We certainly will be.
We will. You can count on us. You got 2 more already.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, this is our time to wrap up. And because we're done, I can now get my fangirl in. I just loved your performances, Nina, so much. I just like every time, just so enchanted by the way you brought her to life. So definitely, you have a fan in me.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. For whatever reason, Nina specifically, like when I got cast, I was like, can I do this? Am I the right person? Like I had like, I don't know, like a crisis. And my very sweet friend, Monica, was like, you can do it. You're going to rock it. And people have been very kind. Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe because it was a turbulent time in my life, maybe I wasn't feeling very confident about myself. But I really put a lot into Nina, and I've heard from folks that my performance resonated with them, and that just makes me so happy because Nina's great. And like I said, I want to do her story justice because it's a beautiful story.
Yes, and I think you absolutely did.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you one last time for joining us. Would you like to tell our listeners where they can find you on socials if they'd like to keep up with your projects?
Yes. Let's see. I'm Jill's voice most places. So I'm most active on Instagram. I have a TikTok, which is mostly just like squirrel videos of my squirrel in the backyard and like crafts that I do. I have a Twitch that sometimes I'll stream on, but it's very rare. And then if you are on the Hellscape known as X, formerly Twitter. I don't recommend it. Don't make an account, but if you are like me, stupid and still on there, I am Jill Harris VO there. So Jill's voice everywhere else, Jill Harris VO specifically in the bad place. But don't feel like you have to follow me because time at the bad place is not. I don't recommend it.
Yeah.
Just follow me on Instagram. My Instagram's better.
Yeah, Instagram's more fun.
Yes.
Well, listeners, thank you so much for joining us as we got to speak with the wonderful Jill Harris. Before we get into our outro spiel, let's give a big, massive thank you to all of our magical, wonderful patrons. Starting with our Sprinkles tier, thank you so much to Honey, Miles, Akemi, Pete, and PJ. Moving on up to our Whipped Cream tier, thank you so much to Joy and Mark M. And last, but most certainly not least, thank you to our magical, wonderful Hot Fudge patrons, Timothy, Faruba Trashcan, Mary, and AJ. Thank you so much for being our patrons.
Yes, thank you.
If you would like to keep up with us, you can follow us at Shoujo Sundae across socials. On Blue Sky, we are at shoujosundae.com. We are also on Threads. If you want to keep up with us individually, my name's Giana Luna. You can follow me at Giana_Luna_ on Instagram and Twitch. On Blue Sky, I'm just Giana Luna. No underscores. It's Giana with one N. And you can stream my song Twilight Champagne on any music platform. How about you, Chika?
Yeah, you guys can find me in the Shoujo Sundae Discord. It is in our link tree. It's open to anyone, and you don't have to just talk about shoujo. You can talk about anything in there. So you can find me in there. You can also find me on Blue Sky at chika.shoujosundae.com and on Instagram at Chika Supreme, and that's Chika with a K and not two C's.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, everybody. We will see you next time with something new and fun. We'll see you then.
Bye.